Hey everybody, just a quick reminder, it is November, it is our fall fundraiser for Toys for Tots. For more information on that, click the link above my head, or wait until after the video for more information. Hello everybody, Mac here, welcome back to the show. Why don't you start this off by going ahead and leaving us a like because it has arrived. It has finally arrived, our Action Marine Sniper, the final of the first four 60th anniversary figures. We've taken a look at the diver, the Action Diver, the Action Soldier, the Action Pilot, the Halo Jumper, and now we have the Action Marine Sniper. And I am very excited to be having this. This is the one that I was actually looking forward to the most. The Diver was a very close second, but this is the one I was looking forward to the most because if you have watched the channel and you know anything about me, I always gravitate towards the sniper figures, the sniper characters. Lowlight, loved Lowlight, loved the classified version of Lowlight. Shooter, was glad we finally had her as a figure, and now we have the Action Marine Sniper right here. And just looking at her in the box, I have some mixed opinions already on this figure, but I'm going to wait to say anything until we actually get this box open, because we have a really, really lovely presentation right here. I love the light greens, like the forest greens that they use for this. The sort of green sepia-toned image of the sniper over here. We get a full body shot of her on this side. On the back, we have a great promotional photo of her in her ghillie suit with the rifle out. We see some highlights, a different head sculpt, the sniper logo, the sniper emblem on here, the marksman emblem right there. I don't know if that's actually a real marksman emblem or if it's just a badge that they came up with for the figure. And then over here, another image and the QR code. But looking at the figure on the inside, much like all of these other Action 60th anniversary figures that we've had, there's a lot of reuse going on right here, but I'm pretty sure we all expected that. The ghillie suit right there is one of the things that I am most interested in taking a look at, as well as these head sculpts and how these all interact with each other. I'm curious to see if you can put that cap on that head sculpt right there. But there's only one way to find out. So without further ado, let's open this up and let's take a look at our G.I. Joe Classified Series 60th Anniversary Action Marine Sniper. And if you want one of your own, you can get her at Entertainment Earth. Entertainment Earth is your one-stop shop for all toys, clothing, collectibles, and more. Get the newest from Hasbro, Mattel, Bandai, and Super 7, as well as exclusives that can't be found anywhere else. With over 25 years in the business, Entertainment Earth has what you want. Click the link in the description below. Okay, and here she is, our Action Marine Sniper out of the box, and putting the tape measure to her, we can see that she is approximately, I'm going to say 5 7/8 to the top of her head. So looking at her, there's reuse. I know there's reuse. You know there's reuse. The problem is, I can't remember where it's from. The torso is throwing me. The torso, I want to say is new, but then sometimes I look at it and I'm like, no, I've seen this one somewhere before. Tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. I swear this has been used on something else, but I can't remember where. It's not CoverGirl, it's not Lady J, it's neither of the Scarlets, definitely not the Valkyries. I even thought maybe this is what was underneath the armor for the female Hiss pilot, but it's not that either. So maybe this is new. Let me know if I'm right or wrong on that. The legs are 100% reused. The legs are the standard G.I. Joe female figure legs that we've seen on everything from, once again, CoverGirl to our Steel Battalion, or our female Steel Corps figures. So these are very familiar to anybody that collects classified. This might be new, but I want to say I've seen it before. It's throwing me. I'm not sure. Either way, I kind of dig it. I dig the paint job. I dig the paint scheme. It's not a full-on camo look like what we had with the Halo jumper. Like there's definitely camo there, but she's not completely like camoed out like the Halo jumper. And I feel like they did that on purpose so as not to have the two looking too similar to each other. But to be completely honest, if one was going to be full camo and one was going to be like this, I would have rather the sniper been full camo. I also like the old school sort of like face paint camo on here. Like this is something that she just pulled out a pan stick and started doing that in the field. I dig that. We have the marksman logo on her shoulder over here. The arms, that's about as tight in as they will get. They do have that little bit of flared out factor going on to them. But let's take a look at the face sculpt again. The face sculpt, once again, is a unique face sculpt. I'm pretty sure the Halo jumper is the only one where we've had a reuse of face sculpt on it. And I wish this laid a little tighter and didn't sort of flare out, but that's just a nitpick. That is what it is. I don't worry about that. I like the hair being slicked back and held down by the bandana, and I also like how this little bit right here, this nice little detail, how this little bit is sort of escaping and peeking out from underneath it. I really like that. The skin tone is solid. Everything looks really good color-wise. I like the brown of her tack gear here, of her web gear. Like, there's not much to criticize on the paint apps. The paint apps are solid. The paint apps look good. And the face sculpt is good as well. It's just kind of boring, maybe. I don't know. There's just something about it. Maybe I had my hopes up too high because it's a sniper figure and I really wanted this one to like really pop. And maybe they relied too heavily on outfitting her with the Ghillie Suit, which we'll take a look at that in a few minutes here once we look at accessories. But I don't know. This is just something really boring about the look of this figure. Maybe it's the reused legs. I don't know. I'm not 100% certain what my issue is with it. I just feel like with the other snipers that we've had come out, low light, shooter, I really feel like even Spirit, I feel like they could have done like such a better job on this than what they did. But let's go on. Let's take a look at the articulation. That the head will do a full 360 spin. And you may notice that it's doing the spin down here at the neck joint. That the head will spin as well. It's on a ball joint. But the base of that neck joint is very loose. And we'll take a look at why in a moment. She can look up not great, which I wish she could look up much higher, just because whenever you get her in those prone laying down like marksman poses, she can't really lift her head up to look down the scope. She can look down very well. Because of the neck joint, she has some really good tilt side to side. The arms will do a full 360 spin, but mine are very stiff, a little sticky. There is a butterfly joint in here, but to be completely honest, it's not doing much. It's there, but you don't get a whole lot of travel out of it. The arms will come up a little bit past 90. We have a bicep swivel. We have double jointed elbows with some really good travel to them. The wrists swivel. The left hand hinges in and out. The right hand, which is her weapon wielding hand, hinges up and down. Let's get your arms up out of the way here. She has a ball joint at the waist that will do a full 360 spin. She can lean back a little bit. She can lean forward a little bit. She has some tea kettle side to side. It feels like there is an ab crunch underneath the upper torso, like an upper torso and lower torso piece, that you can get some more crunch out of her. But her armor does interfere a little bit, not nearly as much as I thought it was going to, but you really do have to kind of like push down on the upper parts of her to get her to get that waist or get that mid-range movement right there. Of course, we have drop down legs that will come up to there. They will come out very much just under 90, very well, and go back to there. We have a thigh cut that mine was a little stiff. I needed to sort of not break it, but crack it a little bit to get it moving. double jointed knees with some really good travel. And to be completely honest, the knees are really starting to get loose. It's time for some new legs. I think these molds have made their run. It's time to get some new legs going on. And at first I thought they had redesigned it to be pinless, but here's CoverGirl, and I guess these legs were always pinless. For some reason, I remembered these being pinned. And then we have the boot cut, and then the ankles will rock back very well. The ankles will rock forward fairly well, and we have a forward-facing pin for some rocker. So, I mean, not much to talk about with the articulation. Everything we've come to expect from a G.I. Joe classified figure. Only issue with the articulation is, like I said, that butterfly joint really doesn't do anything. Out of the box, our Action Marine Sniper has a pair of trigger hands, which only makes sense being a sniper. She comes with another set of hands, but they're basically the same hands, like exactly the same hands, but different colors. And you'll see why in a minute, because as you saw in the packaging, she has another head sculpt. And as you also saw when we were doing the articulation, that the neck joint is very loose right here. That's because when you swap the heads, the whole thing comes off, neck joint and all, so that we have just that ball socket right there at the torso. And I may have to pull this behind the camera because this does get, there we go, it settles in there. Actually, this one seats in there much tighter. I think the socket is a little tighter, so when you pop it down in there, you don't get nearly as much movement out of the neck joint. And then we also have, let's pop these off, her replacement hands, that the coloring is different because they are lighter skinned to match her secondary head sculpt here. And voila, you have basically a completely new figure, a completely new character, which I dig because if you get more than one of these, that's really decent for some troop building, some army building, or you could have one be the sniper, one be the spotter. Furthermore, we can pop this hat off, which sticks with the chin strap a little bit. That we've seen them doing this more often than not. We've seen this with Glenda that we just took a look at, that the whole hairpiece and hat come off. And then we have this one that I like much better, which is the ball cap with shades, goggles, and the American flag on it, which I really dig in the headset. But because it was in the packaging, the microphone is warped a little, so I'm gonna have to like heat that up to get it to reshape so that the mic comes down closer to her mouth, like right about there. But I do really like this one. I was actually hoping that the hairpiece came off of this face sculpt. It does not. This is all one piece, so you can't swap that hairpiece out, because I would have loved to have taken this head sculpt and put this cap on it. I think that would have looked really cool. I think that would have looked really good. But alas, only this one can be swapped out. And that's going to annoy me. So we're going to take this off. And we're going to put this cap back on, this lid back on her, just so that mic doesn't keep getting in the way. Now, taking a look at this face sculpt, this one's actually really good too. I like the paint apps. I like the sculpt of it. I like that the both of the eyes are looking forward. No camo on her, unlike the other one, which only helps differentiate this one even more. But I don't know. I think I like this one better. I like the camo. I like the headband. I like that she looks like, this one looks like she's just more ready to spend a lot of time in the woods, just tracking, watching, following, and waiting. This one is cool, but this kind of, I don't know. This, maybe it's because of Muskrat, but this reminds me of a Navy SEAL with this look more than anything. So our sniper comes with a fair amount of accessories, and I'm not really going to highlight and go through them one by one because quite honestly, it's things that we've all seen already. Everything here is reuse mostly from low light, but there's some other things here as well. Like we have some stuff here from Snake Eyes that first of all, we have this Uzi right here. All of it is molded in green plastic, which I am not a fan of. I would have much rather seen this molded in just like a standard black, but We have the Uzi right here that we've been seeing since the beginning. I dig the Uzi. I really do. I like the Uzi, and mainly because of it being Snake Eyes' weapon of choice, it's very iconic to the G.I. Joe line. However, I don't think the Uzi has actually been used in active duty for about 20 years at this point. Even in the comics, he has ditched the Uzi, and I think he's using an H&K now. So we have this. We also have the suppressor that came with Snake Eyes, so we can suppress the Uzi as well. That just fits over top of it like that, and that is a cool look. I really do like that look, but like I said, it's kind of dated. Doesn't really belong with this figure, but I will take it, and I will find somebody who will use it. Maybe I'll give it to Tunnel Rat, who knows. We also have what I think is supposed to be a Beretta. You'll notice that there is a stress line on the barrel already. That is because when this was in the packaging, the suppressor was attached to the pistol, and the way that it was seated in the tray, when I tried pulling it out, it started to bend, and I wasn't real thrilled about that. But this is her sidearm. The same suppressor that fits on the Uzi you just saw can fit on the Beretta, and it doesn't look bad. It's a little oversized, I feel, but it works. And once again, I feel like this was in we've been seeing this since the original Snake Eyes, not the standard release, but like the Hasbro Pulse exclusive. She does have a hip holster right here that she can holster her sidearm. One thing that I find very interesting is that this isn't one of the holsters that has a loop to house the suppressor right here. Oh, however, I might be able to give this to our Halo jumper. See if that fits on his pistol. That would be cool because he does have that. Or I could swap out holsters. We'll have to wait and see. But I like the holster as well. It fits the weapon very well, and it has sort of like this textured pattern going to it, making it look like leather. I like that. I dig that. I think that's a real nice touch. She has this other case over here, this other holster over here. This also has a nice leather look to it. Whoops, has a nice leather look to it, and that is for this piece right here that we have seen with low light before. I originally thought this was a satellite phone, but viewers told me, what is this? This is like a wind speed gauge, which makes sense that a sniper would have something like that. And she can put that right in there. It's a bit of a tight fit. That's the first time I'm putting it in there, but that fits right in there, so she can carry that with her. Dig that. And we also have this dagger. And first of all, it's not my favorite mold for a dagger. Second, it's molded completely in green. I would have much rather seen this molded completely in black if they were only going to go with one color. But here's the kicker. There's no place to keep it. She doesn't have a sheath on her. I thought maybe something up in here, but that's her radio mic. Yeah, there's no place on her to sheath this, which surprises me because she has a vest, and usually you would like stash it in the vest. Nothing in the boots. She just has a knife with no place to stash it. So there's that. This, nothing in the backpack, right? No. This submachine gun, once again, we saw this with low light. Now, the suppressor that is on the sniper rifle, which we'll take a look at in a moment, does fit on the barrel of this, and it's made to fit so that whenever she's wearing this backpack, you can just sort of peg the submachine gun on the back of the backpack and she can carry it right there. This backpack we have seen with low light before as well, and this thing is huge. This backpack and Tunnel Rat's backpack, I feel, are way too big. And I don't mean way too big for a female character, I just mean way too big in general. But let's position this up and let's put the backpack on her. Got to move the bandana out of the way because of the way that it flares out. But it fits her fairly well. It conforms to her back fairly well, but I just feel like this backpack is way too big, way too impractical. And her bandana does kind of get in the way. You got to drape it over that. Get the neck joint positioned right. And there we go. Hey everybody, Mac here from the future. I just wanted to put this in here that the bandana, be very careful with it. While I was playing around with the sniper and I was posing her for the photos, the bandana snapped off just when I was trying to put the backpack on. It's not on there very well. And I've either mentioned this already or I will be mentioning this. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to fit this into the video yet, but I feel like they kind of went cheap on this one, and this is just like another bit of a disappointment. Once again, maybe it's because my expectations were too high for this figure, but I feel like this isn't quite at the same quality the other 60th anniversary figures were, especially those first two. I don't know, maybe it's not as big as I remember it. I kept picturing that this was huge, like Tunnel Rats, but I do feel it's oversized. And then, like I said, that will fit on there, but that's not a tight fit either. That's a very loose fit. It was on low light as well. And then kind of heavyweights the figure, makes them a little back heavy, especially when it's a smaller figure. So let's take a look at the last piece that we have, and that is her sniper rifle. And this is the sniper rifle that we got with low light. And to be completely honest, it's not my favorite sniper rifle that Classified has come out with. Really, the only sniper rifle that Classified has come out with that I really like is Spirits. And I was real happy to see that the Cobra Troopers, the retro card Cobra Troopers, come with Spirits sniper rifle. I might army build those just to get my hands on some of those rifles so that I can swap these out. Once again, this is molded in solid green plastic with some black on the stock and the scope right there. But with this, I don't really mind because I like how they sort of did it, that she has it like wrapped in like camo tape, or it's just painted up camo. I like that. I appreciate that. I think that's a really cool touch. Now the suppressor right here, let me pop this off. You can see that just like with the barrel of the pistol, there are some stress marks on the suppressor. That's because the first time I put this on the rifle barrel was so tight and so snug around that stem that was coming out that when I started to pull it, it actually started to stretch. I had to run it under hot water to get it to separate. So the first time I had this rifle, I had issue with it because it was way too gummy and way too soft. That was with low light. This time, it's not really gummy, not in the body. The stock is, which I'm fine because the stock is going to have to flex a little to get out of the way whenever you pose. But I like that the body of the weapon, while it is bendable, it's not nearly as sloppy bendable as Lowlight's was. And now that we have that off, let's take this, and you see you can just pop the suppressor on the submachine gun right there as well. So she basically has two submachine guns, each one with a suppressor on them. So you can either go for, like, you know, old and busted or the new hotness. I don't even know what this is or if this is a real one. Also, the magazine does pop out of this, whereas with the Uzi was molded before they were doing that, so the magazine is part of the mold. And now that I think about it, does this fit on the backpack? No, the trigger guard is too small. That you can see it just fits. It's just the same size that I feel like if I pushed this down and forced it, I'd rip the plastic of the trigger guard. So that's really only for this piece right here. And of course, the claim to fame of this sniper rifle is the rifle case, that you can pop this open. Now, I don't have Naga hide yet, so I don't know if they did this with Naga hide, but I know with Lowlights, it was pretty much all gray on gray. I like the two-tone of the interior of the case. I like the green exterior with the tan interior. You can also see my hinge points have stress marks on them already, but hey, that's just to be expected with bending plastic like this. So let's pop this back open again. And yes, you can take the sniper rifle apart. That is something cool about this one that I liked about this one, was that, like, you could break it down, you could take it apart. You see the scope comes off, and then that will fit right here. That snaps in very well. And then the magazine is removable. Very small, very removable. Not a fan of these small magazines on these long rifles. Just a side note, my snow job that had a very small magazine like this on his sniper rifle, which was probably my second favorite sniper rifle, the magazine fell out. I lost it. It's Carpet Monster got it. I'm really annoyed by that. But then this will fit in here like so. Or will it? Come on, get in there. There we go. Nice tight fit. I like that. Because of how it's molded to the shape of the rifle, I feel like this will help the rifle keep its shape over the years. Because you know how, like, well, you saw it when I took it out of the packaging, that it was already bending a little, but I feel like being pressed into this casing will help maintain the shape of the rifle. Now we have a peg socket right here, and we have a peg on back. Just like with low light, you have the option, if you really want to double up, you can butt these together and then put both on her back. But that really weights her to the rear. I prefer to do it if I'm going to put the backpack on and then just have her carrying this by the handle. And now comes the moment we've all been waiting for, and that is the Ghillie Suit right there. G.I. Joe Classified's first shot at a Ghillie Suit. And I was in great anticipation of this because I've looked at two already. I've looked at Gridiron Studios and we've looked at Valaverses. And between those two, Valaverses was my favorite so far. So is Classified going to be able to dethrone Valaverse? The short answer is no. No, it's not. At least not in my opinion. I do really like the fabric and the material they used for this. I love the look of it. I love the coloring of it. I love the multi-coloring of it. It's very soft. It stays together. It doesn't shed much. It does shed a little bit, but I think that's just because it's new and cloth things are going to shed. Like you can see it right here, sort of fraying at the edges. But once you like get these little loose pieces out, I don't feel like this is going to be something that constantly sheds like I feel like the Gridiron Studios one will. This is very simple. It's just a drape. It just comes over top of our figure and rests on her that way. So let's see what happens when we just put it on her. And there we go. It's not great. It's really not. I think the biggest problem with it is that because, I mean, it's a big soft green traffic cone is really all that it is. And it doesn't come down. It's too tight in the shoulders for one thing. So it doesn't just drape over the shoulders. This needed to be broader. They needed to put more material in here, make it broader so that it would slip down over top. But also when you try and articulate the arms, it makes it rise up. But there's not enough material here for it to be loose. So this big cone of a hood keeps riding up. I mean, you could pull it back and sort of have hood down, but at that point, what's the point of having a ghillie suit? It's really disappointing. It really is. This was the thing that I was looking forward to the most. This was the thing that made the Marine Sniper worth having because, like, the Action Diver had the submersible, the Halo Jumper has the parachute, the Action Soldier had his poncho, which was much better than this. Like, they should have basically fashioned this after the poncho and just made it green and fuzzy. Maybe even taken out the sleeves entirely and just had it draped over. Because it's not good. It's not functioning very well. And just look at how much of a peak. Like, it looks like, I mean, look how far down I can squish it on her head. This stuff does peak. It's not horribly taller, but it's enough that it has that bizarre shape to it. I still think Valaverses is the best, to be completely honest. But let's line them up and take a look. Okay, from left to right, we have the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Stalker, in the Gridiron Studios ghillie suit. We have our Hasbro Action Marine Sniper in the ghillie suit that she came with, and we have Valaverse Action Force Deluxe Blowback in his ghillie suit that he came with in that deluxe packaging. And I have to give it to Valaverse, to be completely honest. I know up front there's a lot that's open, but I think his camo helps to compensate for that. I like the look of it all around. It's not too bulky. It doesn't dominate the character. And you still have a hood that actually works. You can pull it back. You can bring it back up. It recesses. It kind of lays over his head. I like that. I appreciate that. Check out the video. I got some really good sniper poses out of him. The Gridiron Studios I really liked when I first got it, but the more that I play around with it and the more that I get it out, it really is kind of just a mess over here, isn't it? With these big strings. They had a great idea. I feel like they had a really great idea. They just need to work on it a little bit more, need to perfect it. The other thing that I like about the Gridiron one, and I only have the green one here to show off right now, but I think they do have other ghillie suits in other colors, like autumn, desert, snow. Oh yeah, and the Valaverse one has different suits that you can buy separate from Blowback. Right now, I think you can only get a 3-pack, which has a green, a snow, and then like a forest snow. So there's that. This, she looks like she's cosplaying an Ent badly. The shape of it, it's like what was the Irish grimace from McDonald's whenever the Shamrock Shake came around? That's what she reminds me of. And I was really hoping for better. If we could get something that was a combination of these two, one that fit a character or fit a figure and had this design but was made from this material, that would be the perfect one, I feel, if we could combine these two together. Because the other issue I have with this one is it only fits her, or maybe other female figures. I haven't tried any of the other ones yet, but it's way too small. It barely fits her in the shoulders. It's way too small to fit any of the male characters. And no, I'm not saying like if it fits the female figure, it has to fit the male character. No, but like it's a ghillie suit. Hasbro should have known that like we would want to get this on other figures. We would want to put this on maybe somebody like Stalker or Lowlight or Spirit. Like there's no options with this, that like it only fits her and it barely fits her. What I like about the Valaverse suit over here is because of it having these elastic straps that you can move over the figure. This can be used for male, female, a little bit taller, a little bit shorter. This can be used, this has versatility. This can be used for pretty much any figure you would want to put it on. This also, this one is kind of, it's kind of reserved to the male figures because of the way that it pegs on the back and fits over the shoulders. It's too much for a female figure. Female figure doesn't wear it quite right. So this one is designed specifically for male figures. This one is designed specifically for female figures. Once again, Valaverse gets the nod that this is the better one. This has better versatility. And just to prove what I'm saying, here she is wearing the Valaverse ghillie suit. It's a little big on her, but that could be more of a commentary on Hasbro making their female figures so small, but it still fits her. It's a little baggy, the hood is a little deeper, but it still fits her. Because something else to think about, this head sculpt right here, this is the only head sculpt that will work with the G.I. Joe ghillie suit, with the Hasbro ghillie suit. Because with the lighter skinned head sculpt right here, because you have either this hat or this cap, the hood won't pull down over it the same way that it pulls down over this one. So as much as it pains me to say it, I really think the Valaverse ghillie suit is the best of the three that we've seen so far. And now for size comparison, here she is beside Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Stalker and Retro Cardback Scarlet. Here she is beside Valaverse Action Force Deluxe Sniper Blowback and Warpath Eclipse. Here she is beside Hasbro G.I.Joe Classified Series Blade and Daredevil Elektra. Here she is beside Super 7 Deluxe Thundercats Lion-O and Conan the Barbarian the movie Conan. Here she is beside Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia He-Man and New Eternia Skeletor from the Havoc Throne. Here she is beside NECA Toys Dungeons & Dragons Warduke and Grimsword. And here they are, all of the 60th anniversary figures lined up together. Our Action Soldier Infantry, our Action Pilot Halo Jumper, our Action Marine Sniper, and our Action Sailor Recon Diver. And I have had a lot of fun with these. I am so glad Hasbro did something like this for G.I. Joe to celebrate 60 years. And I'm really looking forward to the new ones that are coming out, the firemen that's coming out, the first responders that will no doubt be coming out after them. The one issue that I have with these, though the one complaint even, it's not even a nitpick, this is a full-on complaint. If you look at our Action Soldier Infantry, if you look at our Action Sailor Recon Diver, both of them come with a set of dog tags. The Halo Jumper and the Sniper don't have the dog tags with them. And that really upsets me because, one, it's a small accessory. It's been made. All they had to do was just mass produce the dog tags and drop them in the box with these figures. But also, this is something that, like, makes them stand out from the standard classified figures. And if I remember right, was a feature of those old 12-inch figures, which these are basically an homage to. So I'm upset and a little confused about why these two don't have tags that the first two did. So as I just said, I've had a lot of fun with these 60th anniversary figures, and I am so glad Hasbro came out with them. But this one is the one that I am the most disappointed in, and it may be because this is the one that I was looking forward to the most. I'm not sure. I feel like the least amount of effort went into this one. It may be a new torso sculpt. I'm not 100% certain about that. But, and the face sculpts are very well done. But the ghillie suit, like the one thing that I think everybody was really anxious to get, was really excited to get, is probably the biggest letdown of this figure for me. And I don't know, like, I feel like they could have done more. I feel like there could have been more pop to this. I feel like there could have been more to make this feel just as special as the other 60th anniversary figures were. And somehow this one is lacking a little bit. Maybe that's just me. Maybe my expectations were too high. Maybe it's because I really don't like the sniper rifle they gave her. I really wish she would have had like Spirit's sniper rifle. I would have liked to have seen that much more. I feel like the accessories, aside from the sniper rifle that she comes with, don't really fit her, and they just kind of made her like Lowlight 2.0. They gave her a dagger without even having a sheath. Like, I don't get that. But hey, that's what part of this hobby is about, right? Re-outfitting the figures, decking them out, kitting them out the way we want to. I'll probably change up some things on her. I'll probably get her some new gear to make her align more with what my expectation was with her. Probably gonna end up getting another carded retro cardback Cobra Trooper just so that I can open it up and get that rifle out. Despite having all those issues with the accessories, I do like the figure. I think she poses very well. I like the camo pattern to her. Like I said, I'm really torn on the appearance. Like, sometimes I look at it and I go, that's really cool. I like the browns. I like the camo. Other times I look at it and I think, it's a little boring. They could have done more. But she does fit in very well with the rest of the 60th anniversary figures, and I can't wait for this line to continue. I can't wait to get the firemen next year. So that's all we have for the 60th anniversary figures so far. My favorite, I think, is still the Diver. That one blew me away right out of the gate. The Soldier is cool. The Action Soldier Infantry is cool. These last two, the Halo Jumper and the Marine Sniper, I feel like they didn't put as much effort into it. Like, the Halo Jumper is basically just airborne with a new paint job when you get right down to it. With that being the end of the 60th anniversary line, comment down below. Let me know, what do you think of her? Do you like her in the line, and which one of the 4 so far has been your favorite? Hello everyone, thank you for making it to the end. November is our annual fall fundraiser for Toys for Tots. Every year we host this drive where through your donations, Uncle Britt and I are able to go toy shopping to purchase toys for needy families to get them through the holiday season. It's a worthy cause and an organization that's very close to my heart. If you're interested in donating, please click the link in the description below or this video right here. And while you're in the clicking mood, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel immensely, and that's free. So remember, play well everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.